Turn on thing. Great. Thank you and welcome everyone to our Wednesday night midweek Oasis service here at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Paul Prasuti and I'll be your host tonight. We have a wonderful evening planned for you as we do on every Wednesday night. First of all, I want to say hello, church family. I love rolling those words out of my mouth because that's what Richard Robinson used to say when he did meditations on Sundays. So it's a legacy of his that I'm going to adopt. And then why do we call it Oasis? Well, it's a place where we can be together as a community to be spiritually refreshed between Sundays. We present our Wednesday night services in our version of satsang style with the intention that these gatherings be informal, intimate, and rich. So I got a little note from the head office with the announcements that I'm going to build into the beginning and the welcoming part. They wanted, this is from John Russell, who's taken it on, and I think he's sending me a note about improving our Wednesday nights with a little bit of information. So tonight we continue to honor our celebration of Black History Month. And so then John writes, this Friday also happens to be International Day of the Sick. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. So in 1992, Pope John Paul II established the day to urge people to pray for individuals who are ill and to pray for their caretakers. He also says, remember that Saturday, we also celebrate President Lincoln's birthday. So I think those little tidbits are helpful to realize what else is going on in our world. Also going on in our world here at the Oakland Center is we have an annual theme and a monthly theme. Our annual theme is Wonder, Wonder Everywhere. And our monthly theme is The Inner Life. Now we kicked that off last Wednesday and we're continuing it with Luchan Baker tonight. He'll be speaking on the subject of pause and find the cause. So if you're here with us for the first time, we welcome you. We're so glad you're here. If you'd like to find out more about us, we have a wonderful newsletter called The Village News that goes out every Thursday. And if you'd like to sign up for that, you can do that on our homepage of our website. On the lower left-hand corner, you can enter your email address. And that'll give you a snapshot of what's coming up in the coming week. All the Zoom links, all the information about our classes, what's going on. It's a fun thing to receive. It keeps me well informed all at once and keeps the whole week compacted for me so I can stay tuned to the activities here at the Oakland Center. Please note that we are in Zoom on Wednesday nights and on Sundays. So the way we improve the quality of our transmission, if you're not speaking, if you could turn off your microphone and camera at this time, that will help with the transmission. Our Zoom team will do that for you if you don't get to it before them. And please stay tuned for our special and important announcements. At the end, we have a lot of activities here at the center, even though we're in Zoom land. We have a lot of things coming up, important things you need to know that will enrich your life. It certainly enriches mine. So as I said earlier, our speaker tonight is Luchan Baker. And Luchan is a ministerial candidate and one of our esteemed practitioners. And I said earlier, he's going to speak on pause and find the cause. So Luchan, I'm going to turn it over to you. But before we start on your topic delivery, could you open us in prayer, please?
Yes, thank you. Continuing in the consciousness of perfection, we know that there is only one life, one mind, one heartbeat, one breath, one everything. It is known by many names, for it is just that abundant. It is the life of God, and it is all of our lives right now in this moment. So on this very God-given day, we give thanks and know that all is well. We leave our minds open as we allow ourselves to receive the light of God from each and every one of us right now in this moment. For this and so much more, I am thankful. I release, and so it is. Before I start, I would like to say, give a wonderful shout out to Dr. Carter G. Woodson in honor of Black History Month. This is the man who created Negro History Week, which is now what we know today as Black History Month. Thank you, sir, for your contribution. We Americans live in what's called a microwave culture. We want the quick solution to the issue. We want it now, and we want it right now. I noticed that growing up, many of my friends in my neighborhood would make fun of people who would try to eat healthy and try to live holistically and exercise and stretch every morning, just have healthy habits. We used to ridicule that person. Why do all that when I can just take this easy pill that'll fix everything right away, right? See, when I hear pause and find the cause, I know there's a deeper meaning to that. What is the root of the issue? What's really going on in our consciousness, in our bodies, in our lives that has caused the situation? Before we started, we got on the subject of basketball. Paul and I love doing that. And it made me think of a very amazing story in basketball history. Now, as much as everyone likes to call Shaquille O'Neal the greatest center to ever play the game, if you ever get the chance to meet Shaquille O'Neal, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to look him dead in his face and say, Hakeem Olajuwon, and watch how his whole being will shake and shiver. He knows what I'm talking about. Well, it was in this same series where Shaquille O'Neal's teammate, Nick Anderson, was fouled and called to the line for a free throw. And these two free throws would actually help the team beat the Houston Rockets, which was the team that Hakeem Olajuwon was on. The pressure was on Nick Anderson. Now, if you don't know who Nick Anderson is, this man could drain the three from anywhere in the stadium. His shot was beautiful. This is Steph Curry before Steph Curry. Matter of fact, Steph Curry's father probably played against Nick Anderson a few times. So the pressure's on. And he misses not one, but both free throws. And he never, ever got over it. His career suffered because of that one game. He never let himself off the hook. It was amazing. I mean, literally, this man could not make a free throw to save his life after that moment. He never wanted to shoot again. It was heartbreaking. And I can always look at the parts of my life where I've had the same consciousness. There's always a deeper meaning. There's always a cause behind this. In high school, a lot of the players, a lot of the, guys who just weren't shy around girls and just knew how to talk to girls would always tell a lot of the freshmen, hey, if you really want to meet the pretty girl in high school, just find her insecurities and expose them. That's literally the advice they gave. And as horrible as that sounds, it would work. Point out that zit on her forehead. Point out those old Jordans with the holes in them that she's been wearing since last year. It would work. Until they would find that one person who had real security, who really felt beautiful without all those outside things. That person was immune to that tactic. See, when we're full of God and full of the consciousness that we know we are whole, perfect, and complete, things like that are immune to us. Now, I say this like I'm living what I'm talking about, but I'll be honest. I mean, yes, that is hard. We all like nice things. Of course, I like that Benz that's on the TV. Of course, I like that new pair of polo boots. Of course I do. But when I start believing that I am incomplete without it, see, that's something different. Family Guy, one of my favorite shows of all time, always puts me in a good mood. And there was this one episode where they talked about men in big trucks. And it's the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that if you like big trucks, there's an insecurity going on. But when we feel incomplete without these things, what is the deeper cause behind this? Where's the consciousness? What are we thinking? See, for a very long time, I was a gym rat. And not just a gym rat. See, I wasn't going for fitness. I was literally going because I wanted to look bulky and burly. Now I would tell people, oh, it's because I want to start playing football again, or oh, it's because I this and that. But the truth is because I'm short and I used to get picked on, and I realized that if I'm bulkier, people will leave me alone. Never mind how unhealthy the protein powder that I was using was. Never mind how I couldn't even really stretch. Never mind how hard it was on my knees for somebody who's 5'9" to be weighing 235, solid muscle. Never mind all that. I didn't feel like I was a target anymore, and that's all that mattered to me. So when I would walk and my knees would scream in agonizing pain, when I would have an itch on my back and I would just have to tough it out because I couldn't reach it, I had to really pause and find the cause. What's the real reason behind this consciousness, behind this part of my life that I'm seeing right now? Once again, in honor of Black History Month, I'd like to mention Dr. Sebi. He has a quote where he says, mucus is the cause of every disease. Eliminate the mucus and you eliminate the disease. And it's that simple. This man has cured AIDS patients, cancer patients. This man has cured so many people behind his work. The cause is all we need to find. See, in science of mind, we don't treat conditions. We don't even see conditions. I see you as the God being you are. Now let's get to why you were not seeing it. Let's address that. This is why practitioners need practitioners. There are patterns in the universe. There are patterns in our life. We study the way the universe works. We can see the patterns in our own lives. Nothing from outside of you is the solution. Everything you need right now in this moment, you have access to all of it right now. I'm not talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself. Do not search outside of yourself for anything. It's all right here. It's right here. I have a computer situation going on right now. I was not able to get to my computer in time. Thank God for this beautiful village we call the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, where I had someone to reach out to and bring me to their computer, bring me to their home to where I can be here right now. We don't need to look any further. Everything we need is right here in this moment. Back when I was doing a lot of stage acting, one of my favorite directors I ever worked with, Dr. Ayodele Nzinga, told me that sadness, anger, jealousy, all these different emotions, those are masked emotions. And that the real emotion, the real cause of all these emotions is fear. When we get sad, we're sad because we feel like we're about to lose something. When we get angry, it's the same thing. When we get jealous, it's the same. All of it comes from fear. That's why the tough guy, the guy who's always tough and loud, you don't fool me. You're afraid. Come here, give me a hug. Stop it. You're afraid. Come here. I know the real cause. I've been that guy before. There is power in victim consciousness. There is. It's a great place to be in. When you play the victim, you are free from all accountability. It's nobody else's fault. It's always the other person's fault. It's not yours if you're the victim. That's why those who live in that consciousness will fight to the death to stay in that place. My cause, I used to always want to be the nice guy. I never wanted anybody to think I was a bad person. So oftentimes when I was pointed to as, you're the bad person, I would always feel the need to sit there and explain my case. Stop it. You can't argue with somebody who is coming from victim consciousness. You can't out-argue them. They're never going to hear your argument, ever. It's always your fault. But when we know the truth about ourselves, when we know that God is all there is, all we have to do is literally tap out and say, you win. What is the need for me to continue arguing? If I really believe that God is all there is, then does God really need my help in this situation? See, this is where the work comes in. This is where surrender comes in. That's the part where I'm like, oh, wow, I'm supposed to just stop and see what happens and allow God to, and God always does it way more better than I could ever do it. Always. You know, back when I used to freestyle, that's when you rap without writing it down, right? You just hear the beat and you just start rhyming. My mentor at the time, Lord Takim from East Bay Church of Religious Science, shout out to him. He told me, stop trying to think of the whole rhyme in your head. Just start talking. Just allow the beat to, that's all you have to do. Allow God to talk through you. And that's when I realized that you can do something. You can put a rhyme together and it'll be tight. But when we allow God to speak through us, when we allow God to use our pen for us, that's when it's God tight. And we all know nothing is tighter than God tight. Nothing is tighter than that. You don't believe me? Go back and listen to all your favorite Jay-Z songs. He did not write down any of them. He's been doing that since the beginning of his career. He just goes into the booth and starts talking. He did all of that. Yep. This is what happens when we allow God to move through us. We're already God beings. We don't have to do anything else but just be. Which is also the title of another one of my favorite hip hop albums. Shout out to Common Sense. Be. All you have to do is just be. Now, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I'm not against cosmetic surgery at all. That's not what I'm saying. But when I look at a lot of my favorite femcs, which is a term we use for female MCs, female rappers, if you will, a lot of them start out with that natural hood beauty. And as they get more famous and as Hollywood gets more into their ears, we start seeing their faces physically change. Their bodies physically change. And listen, if that's what you love, fine. But in my opinion, if you just realize how beautiful you already are, pause and find the cause. How are we feeling about ourselves right now? Where do we get caught up? Where does our fear come in? Where does that ego, that place of us that says, let me do it. I don't want to surrender. I want to fight. Where does that come from? I know I'm not the only one who has it. I know I'm not. We can only hear what we are tuned in to hear. We are all on the same frequency right now because we all have a place in our lives where we do this. A few weeks ago, I talked about surrender and how we can't allow our emotions to get caught up in the situation. And I grew up in a time where video games really, started to be a thing. I had an Atari in my house, and then, well, my dad didn't want me to get the Nintendo, so we got the Sega, which kind of made me mad because everybody laughed. But I eventually graduated to PlayStation and all those things. And every gamer knows about John Madden football, and I mention it because John Madden is now an ancestor. He passed on earlier this year, and without any debate, it is the greatest sports game ever. And if you're a real Madden player, you know that when you play against the computer, and if you are too good, if you start beating the computer too well, there will be a moment where the computer matches your skill level and will do something that is outright unfair. We all know it. The computer will cheat on you. If you get caught up in your emotions and feel like it's supposed to mean something, that interception that wasn't supposed to happen, that player who wasn't there at the moment and just appeared out of nowhere and then runs the interception back for a touch, if you start getting mad and getting your emotions in and say, oh, next play I have to do a Hail Mary to make, I'm telling you, you will lose the game. The computer knows human emotion. You will lose the game. Ask anybody. This happens. And then I look at my own life. Times where I feel like I took a loss, times where I feel like somebody got over on me, and I feel like, no, I have to make up for that. I have to show them who's the one. And, oh, no, you can't do that to me. Listen. Our blessings are always in the darkest corner of our lives. We know that. That's always where the blessing is. Look at every fantasy story. It's always some dark forest where you got to go get the gold out of. That's a metaphor that you cannot beat. It's in the Bible. It's in every book. In the darkest, deepest, scariest place of our life, that is exactly where our blessing is. So if I say God is all there is, that means even that stuff I don't like, that person who gets on my nerves, who I don't even want to be in the same room with, that one police officer who always seems to be there when I'm in a hurry and I need to run this light. All of that is God. So when I stop fighting this and I allow myself to surrender, when I see everything as an extension of myself, I get a different result. Yes, there is power in being a victim. Yes, it is. There's no accountability. But let's remember that the universe only knows one word. And because of that one word, we always get what we ask for. So if I have this why me consciousness, the universe is only going to show me more reasons as to why I'm being picked on. I used to literally believe that God was picking on me. I used to believe that. Oh man, I mean, it must have been a past life, and come on, we ought to. Please don't tell me I'm the only one who's ever thought that. Please, I can't. My ego can't take it. We've all thought that before, right? And Reverend Eloise would always correct me and say, as long as you think that, you're going to see that. There is nothing that can exist in our life that we did not put there with our consciousness. Everything begins in the mind. Everything. Do we really know how amazing we are? How beautiful we are? How creative we are? Do we really know? The affirmation that goes with this topic today, I am the co-creator of my life. That can either make you feel empowered or make you really, really angry. What do you mean I'm the co-creator? Well, so you mean that one thing that happened to me that I haven't let go of since high school, I put it there and blah, blah, blah. Listen, hold on, okay? At one point in our life, all of us have asked to be great. First of all, you already are, but we've always wanted to be able to show the world that we're great. And in order to be great, we got to go through something great. So yes, on some level, you did ask for it. Yes, I can say that from the computer because you can't throw anything at me. Yes, you asked for it. And thank God you asked for it, because somebody needs to see you get through that obstacle. Somebody's watching you. Remember, your life is not just your life. Somebody's watching you, and they need to see you go through that so they can go through it. So, excuse my Oliver mouth. I can keep on talking. I'm looking at the time here. And I just ask, who's ready to pause and find the cause? We don't have to go into detail about what it is unless you feel comfortable, but just, I'd like to know, anybody who feels inspired to just speak on it.
So we're going to open up our question and sharing time based on what the inquiry that Luchan has brought forward, which is who is ready to pause for the cause, right? Basically is what you're asking everybody, Luchan?
Yes, pause and find the cause.
Pause and find the cause. Thank you. So if you're interested, let's all go into gallery view. Change your view to gallery view. And if you want to contribute to the conversation, ask a question, answer the inquiry, just raise your hand, turn your camera on and raise your hand like that. Or you can use your reaction button at the bottom like this, and it'll tell it to raise your hand. And Peter is going to be our moderator of Who Goes Next. That's a new game we play on Wednesday night. So if you're interested in doing and participating, that's how you'll get noticed. Peter, I turn it over to you. Who goes next?
Okay, who's first? Step right up.
I'll go. It's Maureen. Can you guys see me?
Okay.
Hi,
Martin.
Luchan. I'm kind of in the dark, but
Okay.
I am pausing to find the cause, and I am choosing to not allow the story of my family to create my reality anymore. So I have paused to find the cause, and it was rough. It was rough, hard, challenging, heartbreaking to get here, but it has brought me to this moment, and I am extremely grateful to release that and to take accountability for not continuing to believe. I'm no longer continuing to believe that story. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That reminds me, I have a a best friend. I mean, we've been best friends since I think about maybe 6 or 7 years old. I mean, we've been friends for that long. And there was a moment a few years ago where I just really realized we are thinking differently and we have two different lifestyles, and it really pained me, but I was just like, wow, we can't take everybody with us. And yeah, to be the leader, to be the one to really say, look, I can tell a different story. I can create a different pattern in my life. It takes a lot of courage to do that. Being a leader is a lonely experience at times. And we had the only friend we really have is God anyway. And that's where Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith talks about the ego, meaning edging God out. Thank you for that, Maureen. I think Auntie Carmen has her hand
Carmen,
up.
yeah, good.
Hi, Luchan, so powerful. Oh
Thanks.
my good nephew, so powerful. So my God, just amazing. And I'm sitting here thinking it's so full. So many things, pause for the cause, you know. And I was thinking about some of your story. What really struck me when you talked about the beautiful Black women who were rappers, and as they become more famous, the bodies change and the face change, and what I noticed, what really changes is that they get lighter. Their skin gets lighter. You know, they get talked into bleaching their skin, and then at the same time, I was thinking today, Kevin Hart is back with The Real Husbands of Hollywood. You know, where this crazy self is. It's a kind of a parody around reality TV, and the main women, lead women in the show, they're all light. They're all light skinned.
Hmm.
And it bothered me, you know, and it took me back to, you know, it's like, this is really something going on for you, Carmen, but it took me back to high school or in school where the lighter skinned Black girls got treated different. They got treated better. And the darker skinned men ran for them because the whole thing around, you know, us being separated by light and dark skin in slavery, you know, and then that's generational, that carries. And then the whole thing of light-skinned Black people being more acceptable to white people. So all this came up for me, you know, and it's something that, you know, I had to look at, and you helped me to look at today, you know, and there's nothing wrong, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with light-skinned Black people. I just know that, you know, it triggered me. They're God beings, they're beautiful, they're all that. It's not their fault that they're light skinned.
Right.
But, you know, some of that's still carrying out. There's a lot of feedback. There's a lot of feedback. Is that me or somebody? Oh, okay. There's still this, for me, you know, the beauty of the dark-skinned Black woman, brown-skinned Black woman, and still knowing that all this is still God, you know, playing out in different ways. And so, you know, pausing for the cause, you know, just looking at that root that still holds me to that, you know, that somehow I'm not good enough as a brown-skinned Black woman, you know, and really getting to change that narrative, that dynamic that, you know, I didn't know was so deeply embedded in me. But, and it's interesting because, you know, I've done all right in my life, relationships and all that, you know, but it still kind of goes there for me sometimes. So just, you know, just knowing that God is, and that there's that, that I continue to see the God instead of the color, because that's what I'm asking people to do.
That's right.
That's what I'm asking. See the God and not the color, you know, and just because it's lighter or browner or darker or whiter or pink or whatever, it's all God. And I have to be reminded of that and come back to that, you know, that's still God. So, you know, thank you for letting me speak, and thank you for reminding me of that. I loved your talk as always.
Thank you, Auntie. You're beautiful too, by the way.
Thank you, love.
I remember my cousin Kitora told me, God is beautiful in every shade. And in class, let me just say that school is just the greatest thing going on in my life right now. I am loving it so much, y'all. And we got into this debate because a lot of people were saying, well, you know, addressing God as he offends me, and well, this and that. And, you know, it was a very interesting conversation. And I just had to really sit back and say, well, the reason it doesn't offend me is because God is he. God just isn't only he. God is she, God is it, God is all these things, but God is also he. So if you hear someone say God as he, it doesn't have to offend us because God is he. God, whatever we see in the world, God is anyway. That's why a white Jesus doesn't offend me like it used to anymore. It shouldn't even matter. And just hearing, what Auntie Carmen said, it really helped me to think about a lot of things that used to give me hangups. And it's just like, well, wait a minute, what's the cause behind that? I have two beautiful light-skinned sons, and we know that's how God likes to play jokes on people. I got two beautiful light-skinned sons, and my 12-year-old Ajamu, I always make sure he has moisturizer on his skin before he leaves, because we all know it's a thing about Black people being ashy. Like, that's a real thing. No, you have to understand, like, had Obama showed up on camera ashy, he'd have lost our vote a long, like, oh no, bro, you know better. You know better. So it's a real thing. And so I'm always telling my son, make sure you put lotion on your skin. You don't want to be ashy. And finally, he kind of looked at me like, listen, man, that's your struggle. I don't get ashy. And I just had to really laugh, like, wow, you're right. I am kind of pushing my own stigma on you, son, but still put that on though.
I just wanted to say that Blackish did a whole episode on the ashiness, and the father learned that was his issue, not the not the sons. So it's just interesting that you brought that back. Another thing in our history. Yeah, thank you.
Pause and find the cause.
Joan, go ahead.
Hey there. So pause for the cause. I am increasingly open to just letting go and letting God, and not being so darn responsible. Like, this is not my problem. I can just have the faith and know that I don't have to do a darn thing, but have the faith and just, come from there and inner love. And, you guys, give me so much inspiration. And you, Luchan, you always give me so much inspiration. I mean, gosh, tonight, so much good stuff. It's like, slow down. I'm going to absorb all this. So you're so inspiring and uplifting. Talk about skin color. Growing up in Oakland, especially in high school, there was talk about Black kids with light skin being treated differently than kids with black skin, darker skin. And for myself, the kids with the darker skin had more depth, had more soul, and just touched me so much more. And that was a huge part of my growing up, just having that in my life, actually ever since I was 4 years old. And I'm just feeling so blessed to have dark Black soulness inspiring in my life. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, Joan.
Thank you so much.
Larry, go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'd like to address the high yellow nigger situation from a different perspective. Being a high yellow nigger,
Woohoo!
and having lived as a high yellow nigger, you live and pause for the cause. It comes to the point of where you actually sometimes feel like you don't have a country, because the first thing you have to do with Black folks who judge you based on being light-skinned Black person and feeling that you are privileged you have to authenticate yourself by demonstrating in some way that you are not privileged, that you are really Black, that you are getting down, that you have had experiences where you've had your ass kicked just like any other Black person. When you're walking the street in South Carolina in Jim Crow, you're treated just like everybody else. And so then when you're around white folks who think you're white, and they start saying all the things about Black folks, and you have to then assert yourself to make it clear to those folks, hey, you're talking about me. You're talking about my folks. And then, of course, having to deal with all the humility and the apologies and stuff that goes on after they realize, oh my God, I didn't know you were Black, So you live in two worlds, and those two worlds, pause for the cause, makes you really feel like you don't have a country, that you are not valued by either white folks or Black folks, depending on who you are, until you prove yourself and then get accepted by Black folks, because that's who you want to be accepted by. So that's the other side of the high yellow nigger story. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Wow.
All right.
I love it.
That's why Steph Curry shoots the way he shoots, isn't it? He's like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I can't tan like you, but watch this jump shot.
There you go.
That's a real thing.
Yep.
Jerry, Reverend Jerry, go ahead.
I just want to honor you all for your openness and your sharing. And Luchan, you're so amazing. And Carmen and Larry, I just love you all so much. And I'm so inspired by you. And I love dark skin. In fact, I used to be a suntanner. I always wanted my skin to be darker than it is. So somewhere along the line in some lifetime, who knows when, but anyhow, I really want to appreciate you all for your, just for teaching us in such a beautiful way. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Carmen, Larry.
Like you said, Luchan, it's all God.
Yeah.
It's all God. Yeah.
And
oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Carmen. I just loved our blessings are always in the darkest places in our lives.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's such a beautiful quote.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
We need to remember that because
Mhm.
it's very important. Otherwise we go a different direction. If we just remember who and whose we are and that, we're always watched over and we're all
Mhm.
and cared for no matter what the circumstances.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. Love you. Love you all. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Love you too.
Love you too, Reverend Jerry.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
While we're on the subject, I just want to say to everybody, as proud and militant as I am, if you remember that show, Silver Spoons, I wanted to be Ricky Schroeder. And my father remembers that I used to want to be He-Man as well.
Yeah.
And it used to bother him. I'm not gonna. It was like, man, this blue-eyed, just muscle-bound. It really used to bother my dad. And the Berkeley Flea Market had a generic brand, which was called Sunman. And I mean, pretty much looked like Apollo Creed in the same outfit and the same pose and everything. Only thing different, right, was Sunman was not manufactured by the same people He-Man was. So it was a little cheaper. And my dad bought me Sunman. He said, hey, son, you can play with this Sunman, only one condition. When him and He-Man fight, he better always whoop He-Man, right? I'm like, okay, Dad. Every time Sunman would punch He-Man, the arm would break off. So he had to always buy me more Sunman. So pretty much it looked like He-Man was getting jumped by like a bunch of bodybuilder amputees all the time. It was just.
I wanted to say one thing to you. Reminded me, Luchan. My person was that girl, Marlo Thomas. Oh, I loved her. I'm dating myself. It goes way back. Some of you might not even heard of her. She's Danny Thomas's, I think, youngest child, and she now heads St. Jude. She's the head of St. Jude. And it's just interesting. We're talking about, race and wanting to be different colors and then colors within colors, and just how we're, how generationally, how we're, I'm going back, I'm thinking about Isabel Wilkerson's, the discontents of the origins of our discontents, and how it started from, you know, the systemic caste system that started, you know, and you know, how these things still comes up for us, you know, around color, you know, and me having to realize that, you know, my having issues with light skin, you know, in high school and different thing like that. And I have to say too, I was picked, I like this boy who was in love with this light-skinned girl. And I think a lot of it, in fact, I know a lot of it stems from that, but, you know, also the whole thing of, you know, light-skinned people were hired before darker-skinned people and so forth and so on. But then coming, you know, into today where, you know, whites wanting to be darker, you know, tanning and all that, and envying the beauty that we are. But the beauty is that we're all God, you know, no matter what color we are, you know, it is all God. But it's just interesting how in us being towards a world that works for everyone, that we pause for the cause. We look at what's holding us on. What is it about that? Because we still live in a world, you know, where color is an issue, you know, and the stereotypes that go along with it. And and I think back, one thing Cass talks about, the extreme marketing that went on to prove that the Black man was less than a man, and also a you know, half a man. And I'm thinking too, and I'll be quiet, Larry, you know, having had, you know, light-skinned friends who I found more in California than I did in Ohio, where I'm from, these sisters who were like, don't get it fooled. Don't let the light skin, blue eyes get it fooled. I am a sister, you know, I am, you know, raising their fists and everything, which left me in awe, because it was very different from the light skinned person I grew up with in Ohio, who were not necessarily was trying to pass, but use the advantage of their light skin to get ahead. So it's just really interesting, and part of all of our history and how this has played out through generations, you know, and you know, how you know, that pause for the cause, really looking at that as I have today, like it's still a color, and me saying, let's eradicate colorism on all levels, you know. So I'm just really appreciative for tonight's talk. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, that's beautiful. Being from the Bay Area, I just realized I need diversity. I just do. I have to have it. And I just came back from Cabo, and me and my friends, we were just sitting on the beach, just playing games, and you know, okay, well, all right, who's your favorite white boy, Luchan? Oh, Bruce Willis. Oh, really? I thought you were gonna say Eminem. Okay, well, who's your favorite Filipino? Oh, my favorite Filipino. We just, and it was a really fun game, and it really showed like we're supposed to admire each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to admire each other. God is really beautiful in every single shade.
Absolutely.
And we don't say Black History Month because Black history is more important. Everybody deserves to get the mic. That's what we do. You know, that's what hip hop showed us. Everyone is supposed to get the mic passed to them and say your piece.
Right.
That's how the mic continues to circulate. But when only one person has the mic, it alters the party.
Mm.
Let's all just get together and pass the mic around. Yes, white people are beautiful. Yeah, I'm saying it. It's recorded. White people are beautiful, just like Black people. Just everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The only thing that makes me want to put my fist up is when I feel that the beauty I am is not being seen. Then it makes me want to turn up. Like, okay, obviously there's only one kind of beauty being exposed here. Let me show you how beautiful I am. Me saying I'm beautiful doesn't mean I'm saying you're ugly. Just means that I know God is all there is. So no matter how far apart my teeth may be, I know I'm beautiful. That's what that means. And I'm so glad we had this discussion. And come on, what other center could we, I mean, you know, no, I'm not gonna say what other center, because all centers, I think it would, but our center is just so beautifully mixed and just blended. And I mean, we can have this discussion and it's not even weird. And I love us for that. I just do, y'all.
Yeah. That's great.
Is there anybody else that wants to share, get a share in? If not, we'll move on with the rest of our program, but I want to make sure everybody has had a moment to speak. I just want to make sure we all say thank you to Luchan while some of our cameras are on. I know it's been expressed, but thank you so much, Luchan. As always, it's a treat to have you here. Let me ask you a side question. Oh, Dodie's here. Hi, Dodie, darling.
Hi, Dodie.
Hi.
Where is she?
And Dr. Judith.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Judith, you're out there. Turn on your camera for a minute. For me.
I'm out here too.
Who's out there?
This is
Lita?
Lita.
Yay, Lita. Glad you're
Hi, Lita.
glad you're
I didn't
here.
realize my phone was muted. I just want to say a quick thing.
Okay.
I've just been listening to everyone and appreciate all of the input. And because of where we are in the world, actually, and everything going on, there are a multitude of documentaries and stories and movies relative to African Americans. And I have learned some interesting information myself. And it's really good to find out things that I didn't know. And it's just been wonderful that part of the world has awakened and recognizing and honoring African Americans for what they did. I was watching the great contralto Marian Anderson, PBS sponsored her documentary and story, and it was just amazing. I have my own DVD and book, but there were some things that came out that I wasn't aware of. And even though she was so great and well known, she was still a Black woman, African American, and she wasn't accepted in some places. But in one place, I can't remember the state where she sang or gave a recital, she said she would not sing in the presence of a segregated audience. And so what they did was they made it like a dividing line. There was an aisle from the front to the back. On one side were Black folks, the other side was white folks. And that way, both cultures were able to enjoy her, and it wasn't segregated. I mean, it was separated, but not segregated. So that was an interesting aspect that I had not realized before when I first watched the documentary. But there's just so much rich information out there coming into the light, out of the darkness. And I really appreciate what's going on today in today's world. And I want to say thank you to Luchan and Larry and Carmen for their contribution this evening. It's just really been rich, and all the commentary from everyone, I've enjoyed it all. So I just say thank you, and thank you again to Luchan. Always right on it, right on the mark. So thank you, Luchan.
Thank you, Lita.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to move our program along, but there's something I need to say that's important for me. Jody, don't turn off your camera yet. Keep it on, if I may.
Where's Dodie? Oh, there she is. Yeah.
I am honoring tonight two folks who just recently had a birthday, and I wanted to wish them both a happy birthday from the Wednesday night crew. Dr. Judith just recently had a birthday. She has her birthday haircut on tonight, so I wanted you all to see that. And our beautiful co-founder of our Dr. Dan series that started just for a month over a year ago. And that's Dodie Cheney Fernandez, who's also speaking. You'll hear about, Dr. Dan's at arm's length with, so I want to recognize both of them and wish them a happy birthday and a happy birthday from all of us. Agreed, y'all? Say yes, please.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
Happy birthday.
They both worked so hard for our center, and
Happy birthday.
I'm so grateful. So Peter, when you're ready.
Can I say something real quick, Paul? I just want to let people know that Dr. Dan, the devotional on 12 noon, Monday through Friday, was started last year as a part of the Black History Month celebration. So it's continued because of its greatness and of course, because of practitioner Dodie, emeritus practitioner Dodie Fernandez. So I just wanted to give her that plug as well.
Yes, I agree. I plug it as often as I can. I'm fortunate this month that I get to plug it so much because it's been so enriching. But Carmen is right. It started as a 1-month exercise for Black History Month. Well, we've turned it into Black History 12 months because once I got on board, I couldn't let go. Reverend Jerry?
I just want to say that's the way it should be. Black History Month is the celebration in the month, but it's throughout the year. And so I think the Dr. Dan devotional has been a beautiful representation of that. So thank you all.
And Carmen, we're loving it. I will speak for myself. I love it, and it's changed my life for the better. And everybody knows me because it's just cool. But Dodie and Deborah brought it to us over a year ago, and we're still doing it, and I love it. It's the mainstay. Dr. Judith comes, and it's the mainstay of our lives. It's an integrated part of our life, just like Luchan said tonight. It's our place to pause and find the cause every day at noontime, led by one of the most transformational leaders in our entire Centers for Spiritual Living that has ever existed. So we're just grateful to be a part of it, Carmen. It's just wonderful.
That's wonderful.
Anyways, thank you, Dodie. Thank you, Dr. Judith, my buddies at 12 noon, but happy birthday. I'm desperately looking for my announcements that I had up, and I have to go get them back. I am so sorry. I made a mistake. Give me 1 second. Paul makes mistakes. Write that down, please. Okay, there it is.
That is a lie. That is black.
I was in the darkness. Now I'm in the light. I have my announcements. Peter, if you turn on the light of announcements, that would be great. So what's exciting? What's coming? On Sunday, February 13th, the marvelous, the fabulous. I don't have a pronoun or an adjective good enough to recognize Reverend D. Jacqueline Edwards. She is just amazing. She'll be here this Sunday, and she'll be speaking on pause and find the cause. So Luchan, maybe she got a hint from you. She does check us out, and she does check our Wednesday nights out, and she does reference them from the pulpit. So be prepared if she mentions you. Join us on Zoom, and meditation starts at 10, and the service is at 10:30. Please remember that due to the recent surge in coronavirus, we've converted our Sunday service back to Zoom for the time being, and it will be that way through the end of February. Could go on a little bit longer. Our intention is to make sure our spiritual family is safe, so we appreciate your flexibility. Who is next Wednesday night? Well, she's here tonight. Happy birthday girl herself. Next Wednesday, February 16th, practitioner emeritus and just a fabulous, fabulous person. Jody Cheney Fernandez is going to be there. And she's going to be speaking on Forgive to Live. That's next Wednesday. Our meditation at 6:30 and our service at 7. That is also in Zoom. Now, speaking of Zoom, please note that the password for both the Wednesday and Sunday services has been changed. You all found it tonight, Yahoo. So for both Sunday and Wednesday, when it asks for your password, it's 123456, nice and easy to get to. It is all numerical, and it is the same whether you're calling in or coming in on a device. Now, as we've celebrated all night tonight, and all month, it is Black History Month, we have a couple of wonderful groups for you to consider joining. Practitioner Emeritus Carmen West Jefferson's on the call tonight, and she's hosting the Cast Book Study, which started last Monday, and it will run through March 28th from 6:30 to 8. You can still join
Yes.
For this 8-week journey into exploring the consciousness concerning difference and hierarchy in the United States.
Mhm.
By becoming aware, we then have the power to change that consciousness to one of unity. Now, you can learn more about that on our events page, and the accents information is there for you. Also, we talked about it. Jody Cheney Fernandez, one of the founders of our Guidance for a Spiritual Journey that meets daily at noon for half an hour or slightly more, because we got 12 or so people with very, very inquisitive minds joining us at times. Our noontime spiritual journey started a year ago for Black History Month. The daily readings and discussions are rich and full of wisdom. When Black History Month ended a year ago, we continued. Each day we read from the Guidance for a Spiritual Journey by Dr. Daniel Lee Morgan, who served for over 40 years as founder and minister of the Guidance Church of Religious Science in Los Angeles. It's been a terrific experience. Also, you can find out about that on our events page. We've also started celebrating the season for non-violence. And for the next 60 or so, it's 64 days in total, we will put our consciousness and attention on nonviolence. Did you forget to sign up? It's not too late. Just go to the events page. We know that when we pay, what we pay attention to will grow. So let's grow nonviolence as a community. When you sign up to take part, you will receive a daily email with thoughts to contemplate. You will also be able to pick up a booklet to do daily journaling. Please sign up today by going to the events page. Do you have a secret talent for audio cables and HDMI ports? Come on, that's a secret that you will want to reveal. Have you been harboring a hidden passion for digital graphics and live theater? Or maybe you're the one your parents asked to make the camera on their Zoom work. And the OCSL audiovisual tech team is looking for you. So if you're looking for the most fun team at the Oakland Center, I don't know if it's the most fun, but they seem to have fun all the time. I think we have some fun on Wednesday nights. Come serve and play with us and watch it all come back to you. Contact Peggy Cotton for more detail. And that AV team is supporting us on tonight's event, and we're so grateful. The Oakland Center's annual meeting is Friday, March 4th at 6:30, and that will be presented in Zoom. Everyone is invited to attend. Official voting members will be receiving a notice and a ballot by email this week. So let's take a minute and read the minister's covenant together. I'm going to ask that you keep your microphones off so we don't get an echo, but follow along as I read it. Take in a deep breath and know that this ritual is bringing us a new minister, and it's known as our sacred covenant prayer. There is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to reveal spirit, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of God as wisdom. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by Spirit, for it is written, I am filled with divine wisdom. I allow divine mind to fill my mind now. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as unity in the community. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am inspiring unity and diversity, embracing and nourishing our community. I am awakening the wisdom within. I am healing and expanding our community with the power of love. I am engaging the community in building a world that works for everyone. I am deepening family consciousness. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they are revealed in a way that illumines spirit and serves the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful God is gracious, and so it is. Ashe. And I release that word knowing it does not return back void, as Dodie has taught me to say. I hope I said that right. Calling in our new minister, blessed be. So with that in mind, I am grateful. So I'm going to take a minute and let's read our giving affirmation for tonight. Hold whatever it is you'd like to donate to the center, to give, to release, to improve our center, to help, as it said in that statement, build a world that works for everyone. This gift I give is God in action. It does good work in the world and blesses creation. And so it is. So I pass our digital receiving bowl from one cube to the next to my happy Brady Bunch family that I have on the screen tonight. And I thank you for your contributions. Please know that everything that you give goes back into the center, which allows us to have all this beauty that you see behind me. And that it goes out of these gates and into the world and creates and builds that world that works for everyone. So how can you donate? You can go to our oaklandcsl.org website where you came in tonight. Right there's a nice big donate button for credit cards. You can mail it in the old-fashioned way, and I know what old and fashioned is. So you could mail it through the United States Postal Service to our address listed there. If you're younger and hipper, I always say this about Luchan because he's a young hip guy. You can text it. That's how they do it at 510-327-3431. And there's a whole new financial group of folks using the Zelle service. You can Zelle, not donate or not text or not mail, but you can Zelle your donation to giving at oaklandcsl.org. How lucky we are to have so many ways to contribute here at the Oakland Center. We are grateful for your gifts. I'm also grateful for the folks that helped put tonight together. First of all, again, Luchan, thank you so much for your talk. Also, Reverend Jerry, you're always here on Wednesday nights, taking care of us spiritually and emotionally, keeping us all reminded of the great work that you do. You've led us so wonderfully, so thank you so much. We're so grateful to you, Reverend Jerry. And the folks behind the scenes, the people behind the curtain, all that super happy fun group that you all want to join because they got cords and inputs and cameras and all kind of lights and action and all of that stuff. Let's thank Peter and Helene and Alice for doing all the work behind the scene. I want to give a shout out to Constance Chapman and John Russell that feed me the information for Wednesday night so lovingly and beautiful. And of course, my buddy Zoe down there, he's always in backing me up on everything that I do here at the center, especially on Wednesday nights. He's always available to help me. I'm so grateful. And lastly, not leastly, grateful to you for sticking with us. We're only 9 minutes late tonight. Praise be, it's a record. So before we close tonight, Luchan, if you would you please pray us out as you so eloquently and always wonderfully do.
Yes. There is one life. That life is God's life, and that life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is all of our lives. Everyone attending the service, everyone not attending the service, there is only one life. And so right now in that life, we allow ourselves to pause and find the cause of everything great in our life. We magnify it, we bless it, we allow it to be, for we know nothing is tighter than God tight. So we allow this amazingness that we are to illuminate all in our path unapologetically, and also at the same time seeing the beauty that all of us bring, where there is only one life. So for this and so much more, I am thankful, knowing all is well and all is perfect. I release and I let go. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you again, Luchan. We're ready for our recording activity.
Mhm.